What drives us nacho nuts as dentisting humans? This is Paul, Dr. Nacho Goodman, and Talking Nachos is designed to help you increase success, decrease stress, and reduce the number of times you feel like crying inside the day. The number one metric of being a successful dentist, practice owner, team member is to reduce crying inside. And we have amazing guests for you today on Talking Nachos that are going to share how they help dentisting humans live their best life. I'm ready for my first guest, so my team is ready to bring up the awesome Mike Matthews, sponsor with Fire Gang. They help with marketing. And Mike, you've been on the show before. You've delivered awesome value. One of the things you shared with me is that your group records and listens to calls to see how they get converted. Tell us more about the value of what happens on calls, how that affects your marketing, and sometimes what goes wrong with calls.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Thanks for having me today. I would say often, people are focused on driving revenue, and that's often done by driving new patients, right? But that's only a part of it. Getting them to show up is one thing by showing up online or calling or whatnot, but you have to convert them. I talk to dentists every week, lots of them, and most of them have no idea what their call conversion rate is. If you have no idea what your call conversion rate is, that's a problem. And if it's below 60 or 55%, worst case, you've got a serious ROI issue. So one of the things that we do.
Where are you going? What are some of the things that cause bad calls to happen or drop nachos during calls? What are some, if a dentist is listening and saying, I have no idea what my team is saying on the phone, give us what goes wrong that you guys hear out there.
Yeah, well, a number of the things is, or one of the main things is, how the staff handles the call, right? But even before that, because if the staff doesn't know how to convert properly, that's a problem. But even before that, what are the types of calls that are coming into the practice, right? Where are they coming from? Are they calling the right place? Is it a potential good patient for you? Is it not, right? So you have to know what channels the calls are coming from. And then once you have them, what is your call conversion rate? How are people converting them? Are they getting them on the calendar?
And at Fire Gang, is this a service you guys offer to your clients? Do you help them with this? Or tell us a little bit about how your marketing works. Someone wants to text in, you can put up the Fire Gang text code and say, hey, I want to do a demo with Fire Gang. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, one of the things that happens all the time when we talk to folks, they've been burned by marketing companies, and that's not necessarily anybody's fault. People may do something very, very well, but they may not do the other components, right? One of the most important things that we do at Fire Gang is we employ call auditors full time, because that's something that's way too important to outsource. We listened to over 150,000 calls last year. And for our clients, we're recording and listening to each and every call so that we can audit and document what actually happened during that call. Was it the right patient? Was it converted? Right? And then if there's a call conversion problem, then we can help solve for that as well.
I think that's awesome. I mean, dentists might say my team isn't doing it the right way. It'd be tough for dentists to do it. Taking these calls on the phone in the middle of your day, you have to be ready, you have to be prepared, you have to be trained. I think it's great. But let's talk about as we wrap up, the benefits. When it goes right, what happens? Our patients coming in, our dentists getting more treatment. Tell us about the magic of Mike Matthews and Fire Gang. This goes right.
Yeah, well, again, we're always helping dentists by driving the right new patients in record numbers with laser-like precision in a predictable, scalable, and repeatable fashion, right? But again, you've got to drive the right patients, but then you've got to convert them, right? Yeah. And by listening and recording and auditing each and every call that comes in, because I'm sorry, dentists need to be pouring into their patients, right? They need to be fixing smiles, things of that nature, helping people chew better. They don't need to be listening to calls. However, if your calls are not being listened to and are not being evaluated properly, you're absolutely unadulteratedly leaving significant, most likely, revenue on the table. So if you don't know you have a problem, you can't solve for it.
I think that's so key. So call conversion is a big key. You have to take the call and get them into the office. You guys help with that. Love you guys being a key resource and sponsor. People can text Fire Gang to 215-543-6454. So you can magicify your marketing with Mike. I like that. Like magicify your marketing with Mike. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks, Paul. Take it easy.
As you guys learn through Talking Nachos, these are digestible bits to make you a better dental practice owner, to improve your team. These are all the things they don't teach you in dental school. We had 0 lectures on marketing. And now coming up next, I'm ready for my next guest. One of my favorite topics out there, coding. So how does coding help you not drop nachos? Insurance coding, billing, something that we all need to learn more about. Dr. Greg and Penny, I know Penny from way back, but just introduce yourselves to our audience. Tell us who you're with. You guys are awesome sponsors and what you do to help dentists.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to be here today. I'm Penny Reed. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Practice Booster, and many of you have probably known of us for quite some time. Dr. Charles Blair, who is like the godfather of dental coding. Yes. He is. And by the way, hey, Dr. Blair, he still works with us. We acquired his company back in April and are just proud and honored to carry on the legacy, because you would think that, hey, this is 2022, things should get simpler. And yet the world of revenue cycle management, coding, and insurance administration, it's just way more complicated. So we're the nation's largest, other than the American Dental Association, educational group and experts. I'm super proud to be here with Dr. Greg. It's our goal is to help solve these problems, to be sure that you get paid what you're rightfully owed. So Dr. Greg, I'll have you introduce yourself.
Sure. I'm Dr. Greg Grobmeyer. I've known Penny for 20 years. We go way back too. And so we've had a lovely history together. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Dental Insurance Solutions newsletter. I came on doing that, and now I'm editing the Coding with Confidence books that Dr. Blair has done for so long. And we have a podcast too, the Dental Code Advisor podcast. And a lot of the products and content creation that we're doing, we're trying to keep everything updated. There were 61 changes to the CDT in 20.
Yeah. Codes changed more than your phone. I say to my team, use D27. They go, nobody uses that code anymore. I said, what happened?
There's dead codes. There's deleted codes. There's revised codes. There's all kind of stuff. Like I said, last year there were 61 changes. This year there were 46. Next year, we're on track. I think it's 45 right now as it stands. Every year, this stuff is altering. The laws are changing. The codes are changing. And we're your reference materials to be able to stay on top of those changes, know what's going on. We've got the online code advisor. You can absolutely just type in keywords, type in a code, find out not only what it means, but how to use it, what common errors happen, what narratives you should be tagging on, what type of documentation needs to go with everything. So we're trying to strategize this, not just give you a list of codes. We're trying to say, use this, not that, and you're going to get better reimbursement. You're going to get more timely filings. You're going to get stuff back to you in your office to keep that revenue cycle going.
Dr. Gray, a couple of things I want to share. I've had the pleasure of seeing Dr. Blair speak. I hope he watches this. He's been inspirational to me as a speaker, because it's not easy to speak to dentists. He's been inspirational to me about helping dentists decrease stress and do things right, because it can be as dramatic as, you have to code right so you don't get locked up, right? You could potentially go to jail if you don't code properly. Then if we're a little less dramatic, you might not get paid. That's a big problem. And then right down the middle is daily dentisting annoyance of you and your team being like, why wasn't this paid? Sometimes your patients have perceptions that you should know more than you need to know. So these books are so valuable. We've had them through our office. Before we get to the books, tell us, why is it so important that dentists and their teams just drill into, pun intended, the value of coding properly? What kind of impact does that have on their practice?
Well, if you're not coding properly, you're getting delays, you're getting denials, and you're not getting paid. And so you've got insurance companies that are just kicking out claims because they've got numbers on there that don't even exist anymore in the CDT code set. And if you're not staying on top of these things, you're not getting paid.
Yeah, and I think that's, I love Dr. Blair's book, Coding with Confidence, but I think you should add it, Coding with Confidence and How Not to Cry Inside While Coding, because while it's important to be confident, it's also just that death by 1,000 cuts when you send things in and they don't pay for things, and, it's patient confidence too. So, when you get these books, tell us a little bit about the resources you have for our community. We can bring up your text code. I know you have a great discount for us, but I know we have the physical books. You can hold those up if you want, just so we can break down this list. So you can purchase the books through you guys by texting coding to 215-543-6454. Love that. Everyone should have that. Get an update. Now tell us, Penny and Greg, about the online resource you have, how that can help offices.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have what's called the Practice Booster Bundle. It's the online code advisor. It's like the ultimate Nacho Supreme, right? Online code advisor. insurance solutions newsletter that comes out every other month with tips and strategies on what's going on and how to maximize your reimbursement. And then we also have call center support. So I want you to imagine some like genius elves, and some of them are tuned in. We have this amazing team that's there to support you with your coding questions. And if I could take just a couple of seconds and go back to why the reimbursement piece is so important. It's like, you know what, you've already paid your overhead, right? You've got chips on your plate, and maybe you got a little bit of cheese on there. But what's missing, even though you've already done the work, are all the other things that you like. Yeah. Right. So, and you talk about crying, nothing makes me sadder than watching dentists work so hard, want to reward themselves more, reward their team more. Yeah. And they don't even know when something is denied, how to appeal it. So those are some of the things that we help you with.
They're sitting on the telephone for 45 minutes trying to get some code worked out that they could have just typed in the right number to begin with. And, you know, that's a soggy chip. That's nobody likes that. That's taken away from you're paying somebody to do something that could have been done right the first time had they had the right resources.
I think, you know, I love that. And I don't know what copyright laws are for my Liam Neeson, but you should just get a commercial that says, we have a very special set of skills to get your build-up paid for. So, you know.
That's precisely right, because it's also about that. It's about the documentation. It's about knowing what to send in, what to do. All that stuff's in the reference materials. It's something you can just pick up, look up the code, know what to do.
Yeah, I mean, what you guys are doing for the community is so important. You know, the complexity, I had the honor of working with my dad for 11 years throughout his, you know, before he passed away. And he said, being a dentist has always been the same. You know, patients can be frustrating, teams frustrating, but the complexity of running a dental office over his lifetime and career just became so complex. He was a very secure guy to basically say, you and your brother have it harder than I did. We used to have a big paper book that we would write appointments in. We didn't have 14 different insurances we would have to do to protect our offices. And this is the crux of getting paid for things. Is there's really nothing more important. So I love that you guys are key resources and sponsors. As we wrap up, anything else you want to share with our community, they can text coding to 215-543-6454 to get these amazing resources and a Nacho discount. But anything else, Dr. Greg or Penny, that you'd like to share?
No, I think I'm great. Unless, Dr. Greg, you have a quick story that you want to share.
We're just wanting to maximize your legitimate reimbursement. We're wanting to make sure that you're getting paid for what you're doing in a timely fashion. And that's why we're here. We've got a call center. Even you're able to call in and check on these things. There's so many resources that come with the Practice Booster membership. So we're there to hold your hand, answer your questions, decode all this legalese that's in the CDT codes. That's what we do. We're code geeks. And so here we are.
You're code geeks. I like that. Code geeks.
It's like a coding gang. Yeah, like a happy band of coders.
I don't know what hand signal that would be, but it's something I don't even want to think about it.
The Van Buren boys of coding. So yeah, coding super friends. That's you guys to be. Well, thanks so much for being here, guys. So honored to have you as a sponsor, and thanks so much for helping our community. As we wrap up Talking Nachos, we have a very special guest coming up who is going to share with us a special squash wars he is going on in Philadelphia. You can bring up the amazing Jim Cashmar from Doctors Disability Specialist. And Jim is not wearing his disability hat, although it's always on. He's wearing a different thing today. So Jim, you're part of Doctors Disability Specialist. You help our amazing community protect their biggest asset, them. It's dental students, new dentists, seasoned dentists. But what are you here to talk about today?
I'm here to talk about green screens today, Paul.
Nice.
I put my green screen on. You couldn't see my ears. So on May the 4th, coming up just before your dentist boosts happening on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, we're going to do a little special event in Philadelphia at Drexel University at the United States Squash Center. It's got like 18 amazing squash courts. We're going to have kids who are like 12 years old there to learn about the business or the profession of dentistry. We're going to have hopefully 20 dentists from the Philadelphia area who are potentially neophytes at the game of squash.
Wait, hold on a second. This is not my first rodeo. If this was a real rodeo, it would be my first rodeo. I'm not sure how you get involved in real rodeos, but dental events have done. Is there going to be free food at the event for the dentist?
Yes, free food and maybe even some free libations.
Oh, nice. Free after
the squash.
Text squash to learn about this, guys, so we can text you out. So this is on Wednesday, May 4th.
We are working with you
with dental students and dentists in the greater Philadelphia area, but people can come from anywhere. It's 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., right, Jim?
Yep.
And what is that you're asking? Let's say you're a dentist, 3 years out of school, you come to Squash Wars. What's the deal?
So you show up. We're just going to hand you a racket. Bring BYOS, bring your own sneakers, non-marking, and an open mind, because it's just a fun sport. Ultimately the goal is just camaraderie, learn something new, interact with dental students, dentists, and these kids that have been playing squash for a while because they're part of this program. But it's just more educational than anything else. If you want, I can share my screen and show you the flyer.
Sure.
Okay.
You definitely can. Christian might have to jump on though. Sharing screen on StreamYard, see what happens. It might work out fine.
Okay. Maybe.
While you're trying, I'm going to add in a few valuable points. This is a great opportunity to help young human beings learn about the field of dentistry, learn about the reality. So if you're a dental student at Temple, at Penn, AGD resident, Einstein resident, you should be here. If you're a new dentist in the area, you should be here. If you're a medium or seasoned age dentist, you're going to get to meet people who may be able to work for you, work with you as an associate, share the joy of hygiene checks. All right, Jim, cool. What do you have for us on the screen here?
All right, this is just the flyer my lovely wife made. She is amazing at stuff like this. So it's just the details, and it's on Dental Nachos. If you want to sign up, you can do it through the QR code, or there's also a link. So we have room for 20 dentists from Philadelphia, or if your guests are coming in for booths, they can also sign up and be part of the fun. 20 dental students from Temple or UPenn, or even the residencies.
Cool.
And then the 20 kids will just be there. So this is how you do
awesome. Well, Jim, you're truly JBN. You bond people together. That's a dentisting term. So excited for this. Please, if you're in the greater Philadelphia area, come support this. Have fun. Stop by, have a drink, watch people's. If I come, I'm watching the squash. I'm not playing the squash. I'm good at watching the squash. So you can watch the squash with me. Anything else, Jim, that you'd like to share about the program before we wrap up?
Nope, that was perfect. Thanks, Paul. Maybe we might have a basketball hoop there for you so you can dunk. We'll lower it to 9 feet.
Yeah, lower it. Awesome, Jim. Thanks so much for being part of this. As we wrap up, guys, just want to share with you, coming up in the fall, the Dental Nachos CE Conference. We're doing the Profitability and Patient-Centered Care Conference. You can text Travis to 215-543-6454. My team can put that up in a second. Text Travis to 215-543-6454. It's going to be an amazing event. Tickets are 50% off till April 1st. I know my dentist people, you love a deal. People have signed up already. Bring your office. Come as a student. Come as one of your Dental Nacho supporters. It's going to be a fantastic time for us to bond together. It's going to be our first giant in-person event since that crazy pandemic. So I would love for you to support us. Thanks so much for being a part of this, guys.